it's Alicia Rain and welcome back to my channel, Rainy Reads. This is going to be a summer vlog. I thought it would just be fun to celebrate the last little bit of summer that we have before spooky season gets here. I love the spooky season. I'm a fall girl through and through, but I still enjoy summer. And I haven't really been able to do much this summer. So yeah, I'm just excited to do this, dedicate time to doing summer activities. My boyfriend and I have started playing tennis, which has been really fun. I've been wanting to do that for a while. And my boyfriend and I are also going on a trip to Lake Michigan for the weekend. And I wanted to bring you guys along with me because we'll be at the lake swimming, which I think will be really fun. We're also going to be staying with some of his family. So I don't know how much filming I'll be doing in their house just because I don't think they'd really be comfortable with that. They might be fine with it, but I also don't really want to ask, honestly. So I think I'll just do some B-roll while we're at the lake. And I think he said that there's a bookshop in that town that he wants to take me to, so maybe we'll get some books. I really shouldn't get some books. I usually try and do a little book buying ban before October because I'll buy a lot of books in October. I'm so sorry if you hear my cat. Hold on. She's being noisy because I just got home from work a little bit ago. It's a Thursday as I'm starting this. My boyfriend and I are leaving for Lake Michigan tomorrow morning. I just picked up some Wingstop for dinner. I think I'm going to eat that, watch Stranger Things because I am doing a rewatch in anticipation for the new season that's coming out, and I just got to season 3, which is my favorite. And then I kind of want to do a little bit of a self-care night, do a face mask. I really need to mess with my nails. I just haven't trimmed or filed them in a minute, so I'm gonna do that. And I still need to pack for this trip. I'm probably gonna do most of it in the morning right before we leave, honestly, which is so unlike me. I'm usually the type of person that gets everything packed a few days prior to a trip, but I've just been so busy, so busy. So I'm gonna try and pack a little bit tonight. I may or may not. My boyfriend's at work right now. He won't get home until 11 p.m. So that's kind of what's happening. Like I said, don't know how much talking will be done on the actual trip, but I want this video to go a little bit longer outside of this weekend anyways. I also have a few books that I want to read this month. I haven't started any of these yet. I can't find my Kindle right now, so that's slightly concerning, but I do have one book on my Kindle, which is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I don't really know. This is what it looks like, if it'll focus. It's been on my list. I've never read a Grady Hendrix book before, so I'm excited to read that. I also have the audiobook available. And then I also want to start reading Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have the audiobook for this one as well. This is actually this month's book club buddy read for my book club. And then I also want to read the first omnibus volume of One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. I absolutely love the show. If you're new to my channel, you probably don't know that, but it's kind of crazy. I've never read any of the manga yet. I'm on 950, around that episode marker in the show. So I've had this for, I think, 2 years. So I'm excited to finally pick this up as well. And I'm thinking I might do a 24-hour reading challenge in this video, but the kind where you time yourself with the timer, so the timer method. So every time I pick up a book, I'll start my timer, and I'll just do that until I reach 24 hours, because realistically, on a vacation, not going to be reading for 24 hours straight, especially because we're only really going to be out there a day and a half. We're driving up tomorrow morning, which is a Friday, and we're coming home Sunday morning. So I don't really want to do that to myself. And because I do work full time, that's also not really realistic to do that on a work week. So yeah, I'm just going to do the timer method. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, so I'm really excited. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. I might start one of these books tonight, or I might start it on the ride tomorrow. But I just hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into this vlog. was not expecting it to be so bright. I haven't used this in a minute. Oh, it went in my nose. Okay. Okay. This is kind of stinging. I don't think it's supposed to do this. So the face mask is already feeling like it's stinging, but I'm gonna keep going. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this, and hopefully it doesn't make my skin have a reaction or stain my face blue. I think I'm going to try and find a movie now to watch. I definitely did not start packing yet. I doom scrolled on TikTok for a amount of time that I do not want to disclose in this video. Too long. But I'm gonna watch a movie anyways. I did start laundry though. So, in that sense, I was productive. Alright guys, so my boyfriend and I just got back a little bit ago from our trip. It was really fun. I actually filmed a lot more than I was expecting I would. I'm trying to get more comfortable filming out in public, specifically when there's big crowds, because I just try to be mindful that not everyone wants to be on camera and put on the internet. But I mean, when you're walking around in stores and it's like touristy, because it's that time of year, it's kind of hard to not get anyone on film. But yeah, it was really fun. We had a great time. So we drove up around midday Friday and we ended up going out to eat and had a really cute date night, and that was honestly really fun. It was right on the lake, really delicious food. And then Saturday morning we had a little bit of a beach morning. We read at the beach and swam for a little bit, and then we spent a big chunk of Saturday with his family catching up and just talking a lot, which was really fun. And then today we went to a coffee shop, and then we went to a coffee shop this morning on our way home, and it was really cute. It was very botanical and really cool vibes in there. And then we also went to a bookstore and a few other little shops, like an art gallery, and I was really good. I didn't buy anything. I am trying to save money and since the move, haven't really been able to save money, and with getting the kitten. So yeah, I was good. Didn't buy anything except food when we went out to eat. We also went to a few little like bars in the area, which was nice too. And then we stopped somewhere on our drive home today in Lansing, which was really good and yummy. And yeah, I just had a really good time. I did read for, let's see, I was hoping I'd read more than I did, but I'm not really surprised. I read for just over 4 hours, but I actually got a lot read within that time, and I think I'm going to read more than the 3 books that I mentioned. So I only started 2. I did start Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I got to page, let's see, I read through page 173. I'm right before it gets to the 1995 French Open. So I'm gonna try and think about everything that I want to say, because I didn't update you guys, but I was talking about this with my boyfriend while I was reading. I don't think I've ever read a book where I like the character but also dislike her so much. So basically in this book, it's a fictional story, but we are following a tennis player named Carrie Soto who is in retirement, and she retired as the best tennis player of all time and won 20, oh gosh, is it slams? Grand Slam titles. And it starts off with her watching this other girl in a tournament about to win her 20th Grand Slam title as well. And Carrie does not like that her record is getting matched and possibly going to be beaten. So she decides to go out of retirement at the age of 37, I believe, and go again for another Grand Slam. And her dad was her coach for a little bit there before she got another one. But yeah, so the book starts off like that, and then we go back in time when she was born pretty much. We learn a bit about her family dynamic. She lost her mom at a very young age, and her dad loved tennis and really drilled that into her. And the thing that I like the most about Carrie as a main character is how driven and ambitious she is, and she's unapologetic about that. And when she has her mind focused on something, she will succeed at doing it. And that I really like in a character, because I would say that I'm very driven and ambitious as well. So I like reading a character like that. But I've never disliked a character so much too, because she is so full of herself, stubborn, pretty arrogant, and honestly, why can't I think of the word? She's not really empathetic towards other people's feelings either, especially if it involves her and the reporters and everyone when she's getting into the tennis world, and other girls in the women's tennis don't like her at all, really. So when she decides to come back out of retirement, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about her. So yeah, in that sense, I can see why people don't like her, because she's not really respectful either towards other people, but she is very driven and determined. So I'm like constantly struggling with that, because I don't want to like her, but I do like her a little bit. So I've really been enjoying this book. I'm finding it really interesting, and I'm reading it way faster than I thought, because with only reading for 4 hours, I got 173 pages into this book. And then I also read the entire first volume of One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. And if you don't know what this book is about, we're following our main character Luffy, and he really wants to be a pirate. We kind of jump back and forth in time. We do see him and how he first not really discovered wanting to be a pirate, but these pirates were staying on his island. They were really good guys and had really good morals and beliefs. And Luffy saw Shanks, the captain of that crew, and just really strived to be like him and wanted to go out to sea. And he ended up eating a devil fruit. And in this universe, a devil fruit possesses magical powers and abilities, and there's only one of each fruit. And the downside of eating one of these fruits is that you can't swim at all. But he becomes a rubber man where he's really stretchy, but he wants to become a pirate, and now he has the problem of not being able to swim, so that's pretty dangerous. So we see all that happen, and then it jumps to present time, and he ends up on this ship, and he meets Kobe and inspires Kobe to go after his dreams of joining the Navy. And Luffy is just on a search of finding people to join his pirate crew, and he wants to become king of the pirates and find this grand treasure called the One Piece. No one knows what the One Piece is. The One Piece is a treasure from a very famous, well-known pirate years before him that ended up getting executed, I believe, by the Navy or the government, because he was so dangerous or a threat to the government. So now there's a huge quest that all these pirates are looking for this One Piece, but again, they don't really know what the treasure is. So you're just going on this adventure. It's a big found family trope. It's also an anime, and I really, really love it. I think I briefly talked about it in the intro of this. I'm on episode 950 or something, so I'm pretty deep into the show. But I'm so excited to finally be reading the manga. I love reading manga. I really like the art style in here, and I always like when at the end of a chapter, the author has like little random things thrown in there. Like Akira Oda has facts about himself, and then he also has like original character designs for some characters and like how to draw your own pirate flag, and it's really cute. So I've been enjoying that. And let me see what page that was that I got to in here. I got about 215 pages into here. So I've already read about 400 pages in 4 hours, and I know that manga isn't as difficult to read, but that's still a lot more than I was expecting. So this is a Sunday as I'm doing this check-in. I do have work Monday through Thursday this week. I can listen to stuff while I'm working, so I might listen to some of my audiobook for Carrie Soto is back at work tomorrow, and I'll just start my timer while I'm at work for however long I listen. I also do have the audiobook for the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I think that's the title. I haven't started that one yet though, so I don't know if I want to start it on the audiobook. But yeah, that's pretty much my update. I don't have much else that I'm doing today. I'm just trying to relax. I don't think I'm gonna read any more today because my boyfriend and I have just been driving a lot and we just want to chill, have dinner, watch a show before we both go to work tomorrow. But yeah, that's my initial check-in. I will try to either update you guys tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on how much more reading I get done. Hey guys, in true fashion on this channel, there has been a time jump. I did not get much reading done. Actually, I didn't read at all during the work week last week. Work was just too much. I almost said the word chaotic, and if you've been watching my videos, I use that word too often to describe my life. I need to find another word, but I mean, truly work was chaotic. It's just been so busy over there, and I really did not want to try and pay attention to a book while I was working. Instead, I just had YouTube playing in the background like I usually do for like background noise. Sometimes I can pay attention, but for the sake of this video, because I am also explaining what these books are about, I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying, I'm over explaining myself. Anyways, I didn't read anything Monday through Thursday. I did read a good chunk this morning. We're at roughly at 9.5 hours. I don't know if you can even see this on the screen. And I did finish both Carrie Soto is Back and the omnibus volume of One Piece. And I also tried listening to the audiobook for the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I'll put it on the screen here. I really couldn't get into it, and if I couldn't even get into the audiobook, I really don't think I could have gotten into it on my Kindle, so I just returned it, honestly. So I instead am going to start reading the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. I tried reading these books in middle school and I really couldn't get into it, but I absolutely love the movies. If you saw the last vlog that I put out, I went and bought these editions of the series and the first prequel book to the main trilogy. And I said in that video that I wasn't going to do a reading vlog dedicated to these, but there's a chance I might read all of them in this video because I've been flying through books. And honestly, this looks really easy to get through, so maybe I'll read the whole trilogy here. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's talk about my thoughts on the first two books I just finished. So Carrie Soto is Back. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I really liked it. The writing, as always, by this author is really good. I don't fully remember what I did for my thoughts on this already, but I hated that I really liked our character so much, and we do see her character evolve, so she does get better and more empathetic towards others. But the thing that just kept me drawn to her was her drive and passion for tennis. I just really, really loved that, specifically with how she made a career for herself out of something that she loved so much. I really admire that. So I really, really like this. I did tab, not like a crazy amount. For some reason, this does not want to focus right now. It only wants to focus on me. Is this focusing? Yeah. You can see some of the tabs in here. Not crazy tabbing happened, but there were really good quotes in here that I liked. And we really see Carrie struggle with having to be perfect. Like, she does not take any sort of loss lightly. Like, she's like that type of kid, and this comparison even was put in the book. She was like that kid in school where if they got like a 96%, it was like the end of the world because it wasn't 100%. And part of that was Carrie's father constantly hyping her up that she's going to be the best tennis player in the world. We've seen a lot of character growth in multiple characters that we're following in here. Even though the main character is Carrie Soto, we also get a lot of time with her father, as well as this other side character, Bo, which I also really liked his character. I liked him and Carrie's relationship and dynamic in here. And just the father-daughter relationship in here was so sweet to read about. It really tugged at my heartstrings. I'm very close with my dad. He's like my best friend. So in that sense, I was really able to relate to that in this book. And even though I did start playing tennis, I really don't know that much about tennis. But I don't know. I feel like even if you weren't a big tennis fan, you could still be intrigued by this and be gripped by it. But I will say, there is a lot of tennis in here. So if you're not a sports person, this might drag on for you. You might not like it as much. But for me, I loved it. I was super into it. And all I'm really going to say at the end of this book is that it gave me Challenger vibes. Like the movie Challengers with Zendaya, and I don't know the actors' names, the two guys that were in that movie with her, but the ending of this, like, for the main plot, you do get a resolution, but for something that they sprinkled in there at the, why can't I even think of the word, epilogue, prologue, they did like a 1 year later thing. That was very short and ended like the Challengers movie. So if you've seen that, know that, but it's not anything like crazy to deter you from reading it. I just thought it was funny that I could like compare those two things, which honestly reading this made me want to rewatch that movie. So maybe I'll try and find somewhere to stream that, because I did go see that in theaters with one of my friends and we really enjoyed it. But anyways, 4 stars for this book, which is a good start to this 24-hour challenge and continuing the good vibes. Struggling here. I finished the omnibus volume of One Piece. So this covers volumes 1 through 3. And I was honestly debating if I counted this as 1 or 3 books towards my reading goal. And then when I noticed that this was 601 pages, I decided to count it as 3, even though it's physically 1 book, because if I collected the individual volumes, I would have counted them as their own. And I think I'm going to keep the same thing going that I've been doing for the last like year on this channel, and that's that I'm not really going to rate mangas. And I'm also just really biased towards this story because I've already watched over 900 episodes of the anime. So obviously I really love these characters. So technically if I had to, I would give all of these 5 stars. But again, I'm not really going to rate them. And after reading this, this really, really makes me want to start getting more volumes of this. So yeah, DNF the Vampire book after almost 10% of getting into it. Again, just really wasn't for me. And I'm okay with that. So I was trying to look at other books that I would have liked to read that are like summer vibes, and I don't really have any. I still have that Lana Del Rey poetry book, which I might read tomorrow. I'm going to get up and play tennis with my boyfriend. I'm going to try and film that. And then after that, I don't think we're really doing anything. So I should be able to get a lot of reading done tomorrow. And if I can't, hopefully I get it done on Sunday because I want to get this video out as soon as possible. Another thing that has prolonged my progress in this reading challenge is that I may or may not be working on something exciting for the fall time, so stay tuned for that. That video will go out probably shortly after this, by the time I'm able to edit this video down and get it up, and it may or may not be a readathon. Once again, I am rambling. I am too good at that. I am going to end this little update here. Hopefully I can possibly finish this book tonight, and then tomorrow morning after tennis I will start Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. I do have that on vinyl. Don't know if I said that or not, so I think it would be fun to make some tea and just have like a relaxing time reading this poetry book. And yeah, that's it for this update. I'm sorry, but Gail is supposed to be a love interest. And she says, this is a quote in the book, "He could be my brother, straight black hair, olive skin, we have the same gray eyes, but we're not related, at least not closely." I just don't like the commentary of them looking like siblings when I know they're supposed to be possible love interests. Like, is that just me? I just had to comment about that. Sorry, again, is it different in the books? Is he not a love interest? Because she even says in here, there's never been anything romantic between Gail and me. I wasn't expecting this. I mean, I'm only on page 10, so I'm sure it could change, but I don't know. I'm intrigued to see the differences between the movies and the books. Like, there's some things I do know about, like getting more backstory and stuff on characters, which that makes sense because you can only show so much in a movie, but yeah, I'm intrigued by this.
I left my city for San Francisco, took a free ride off a billionaire's jet. LA, I'm from nowhere, who am I to love you? LA, I've got nothing, who am I to love you when I'm feeling this way and I've got nothing to offer?
So I just got to part 2 in Catching Fire. I have quite a bit of an update to give you guys. I'm around 16 and a half hours in the reading challenge, so I still have quite a ways to go, but I made really good progress. Yesterday I stayed up until I finished The Hunger Games. I don't really think I'm going to rate these books until the end of the video once I read all 3, just so I get a better, like, I don't know, just that I've read them all and that I feel like I can properly rank them with ratings. But thoughts on The Hunger Games. That one, I really enjoyed it. I don't know how I wasn't able to get into it in middle school. Like, I really could not get into the book, which is why I was kind of nervous buying these. I think I mentioned this in a previous clip, but in my last vlog, I was hunting down just the main trilogy, and then I forgot that they came out with these special editions, and they have it for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes as well. So I bought the 4 of those instead of the trilogy, not knowing if I was gonna like the series at all, which makes a lot of sense for me. I need to be better about that, but luckily I am enjoying these books. I don't really want to get into too much because this is a spoiler-free reading vlog, and I don't really want to have a bunch of skip to this times in this video. So let's keep it very short. Very similar, but also there are differences in the movie. We get a lot more background on characters. We also see slight differences in the games. There's a specific part where at the end of the book, and this isn't a spoiler, but at the end of the book, there's a specific thing that happens with kinds of creatures, and that is slightly modified in the book. It's way darker and messed up, and even though we know the capital sucks and is twisted, I feel like if they kept what it was in the book, like the exact same, it would have just hit so much more than the movie already did. And really knowing how twisted the capital was, that really like shocked me. There's also a difference in which character gives Katniss the Mockingjay pin, which I don't know if that was just to move the plot along in a different way. I don't really know, because the character in the book I don't think we even see in the movie at all. So that was interesting. I don't know. I just got to the part where it's just really tricky trying to think about what to say for this, because I mean, I feel like it would be really hard for people to not know what the Hunger Games is about. And all I really want to say is that in this one, we're continuing Katniss's story, but I am really enjoying it. I am intrigued as to how much of the games we're going to get in book 2, because we're already about a third of the way through and they haven't entered the games yet. Catching Fire is my favorite in the movie series, so I was really hoping that I was going to enjoy this one. It is just a little slower. And then this morning, my boyfriend and I went and played tennis, and then I listened/read Lana Del Rey's Violent Bent Backwards in the Grass. Violent Bent Backwards Over the Grass. Can't think of the title right now. It's in the other room. That one only took me about an hour to read, and it was kind of hard to listen along because I thought it was a full audiobook with all of the poems. It's just like 8 or 10 select poems that she reads out loud. So I kind of had to jump around and then go back and read the rest of the poems. Absolutely love that poetry book. I've already read it once before, maybe twice before. It's just, I love Lana Del Rey so much. And I mean, it would make sense that I would like her poetry book. I mean, she writes for songs, she writes for poetry. It just very much reads like Lana Del Rey lyrics, I feel like, which again makes sense. It's her book. But yeah, I just love reading that. It's a nice little palette cleanser, refresher. I think it's cute that it's written from the typewriter, and I think I showed a clip in this video. There's also some poems where one page is like a first draft and you can actually see like the typed out typewriter portion and then her like handwriting over it, like changing things, and then like the modified one next to it. So I think that's cute. And all the pictures in that book, I believe she took herself. So yeah, I just think it's really cool, a little mixed media moment going on in there. I'm going to take a break, eat some sushi, spend time with my boyfriend before he goes into work, and possibly watch some more Stranger Things, and then hopefully I will finish Catching Fire tonight. I have about, what, 7.5, 8-ish hours left. Can't think about math right now. But I definitely think I can finish this and possibly finish the Mockingjay book. That one might be a tomorrow moment, but we will see. Maybe I'll stay up tonight and start Mockingjay. I don't really know. guys, it is the next day and it's actually like late afternoon because I had a situation happen. So I did stay up and finish Catching Fire last night, and I must have just been too tired because I completely forgot to stop my stopwatch. And when I woke up to my alarm this morning, it was like 26 hours and counting still. So I don't know exactly what time frame I stopped reading Catching Fire, and I thought it was just safe to assume that I was at the 19 or 20 hour mark. So I just gave myself 4 hours today to read. I didn't film any of it because truthfully, I wanted this video to be over because I just read so much within the last 2 days. My brain feels fried. And simply to finish Mockingjay, I am getting the audiobook because my eyes are just done reading at this point. Even with me breaking it up over like such like a gap of time, still just too much. I feel like I'm just reading things too fast for this video to get out when I would like it to. So this just reminded me why I don't usually do 24-hour readathons in any form. But I'm kind of glad that this video went how it did because I really did not plan to have this go across 2 separate weekends, but I just feel like or be a little more realistic in that way because some people just don't have 24 hours to spare in even in an entire weekend, not just one day, even over the course of 3 days to dedicate to reading. I'm super busy. I try to fit a lot of stuff into my weekends. Why I thought I was going to read even 12 hours on a mini vacation where I was only really going to be gone for a day and a half was, I don't know what I was thinking there. So all that being said, let's do a wrap up of everything that I read in this video. So the first book I read and finished was Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am going to end up giving this a 4-star rating. I really enjoyed the writing in here. I feel like the characters were written very well, and just gonna reiterate what I've said before, I really loved having a main character be so passionate and driven about something. And also reiterating what I've said before, didn't really like how she treated other characters, and I don't like that it took a certain thing to happen for her to sort of turn over a new leaf. And I just like the other relationships in this story as well, between Carrie and her father, even Carrie and her, I think it's her agent. Their dynamic was nice. Definitely recommend this one, 4 stars. The next book that I finished was One Piece volumes 1 through 3 by Eiichiro Oda. I'm gonna count it as 3, especially because this ended up being 601 pages. And even though it's a manga, that's still a lot of pages. And yeah, I just feel like I'm a little biased when it comes to rating this because I love the stories. I technically would rate them all 5 stars. I don't know if I will when I track them on all the different tracker apps that I have, but just know that yes, I would give this 5 stars, maybe 4.5 or 4 stars to somebody that doesn't really know this world or these characters yet. The next book that I attempted to read was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by, I think it's Grady Hendrix was the author's name. I did have the audiobook available, so I listened to about 10% of the book, and I ended up DNFing it because it's just something I couldn't get into. I didn't really like the writing, and I mean, I didn't like the writing, which is why I went to the audiobook, and I didn't really like the person narrating the audiobook either. So yeah, DNF'd that. And since I did switch over to audio, I don't really know the number of pages, so that's not going to be factored into my total. And then I read The Hunger Games, and I actually don't have the synopsis on the back of this edition because it's a special edition, so I'm going to pull it up on Goodreads real quick. In the ruins of a place once known as North America lies the nation of Panem, a shining capital surrounded by 12 outlying districts. The capital is harsh and cruel and keeps the districts in line by forcing them all to send one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 to participate in the annual Hunger Games, a fight to the death on live TV. 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen regards it as a death sentence when she steps forward to take her sister's place in the games. But Katniss has been close to death before, and survival for her is second nature. Without really meaning to, she becomes a contender, but if she is to win, she will have to start making decisions that weigh survival against humanity and life against love. So I'm only going to read the description for the first book because There are probably some people that don't know anything about this series. Now, I've seen the movies first. I believe I watched the first and maybe the second one before I tried reading these back in middle school, and I just couldn't get into the books. I absolutely love the movies. I've watched them all. I did actually enjoy these books. I don't know how I wasn't able to get into it in middle school. I'm just thinking it might not have been like the right time for me to read it. I've also never really been super big into like sci-fi or dystopian stories very much. I was definitely more of a fantasy girly. Give me magic and other worlds and dragons and fun creatures. I never really got behind, like I said, the sci-fi genre specifically. But I really enjoyed these this time around. I'm still a little iffy on what I'm rating them, especially because I haven't finished the Mockingjay book yet. But I actually think the first book was my favorite, which I find shocking. But yeah, I think I'm going to put my final ratings on the screen as I'm editing this, because I'm sure I'll finish Mockingjay before I decide to upload this video, and I'll have had more time to think about these, because I am conflicted, because I liked the movies more, and it might have been different if I had read these first. So yeah, in classic Alicia fashion, I'm overthinking this, the ratings. So like I said, I will put them on the screen when I talk about them. There were definitely some differences in this book. I think I kind of touched on it before. There was something specifically at the end that I wish they would have kept, because I think it would have really like impacted the audience more in fully seeing how twisted and corrupt the capital or government was in this universe. And even more so as we continue the series, especially in Catching Fire, because there's some more stuff that's disclosed in the book that didn't happen in the movies, and even the parts that I have read in Mockingjay. I mean, it would have definitely been darker. Maybe they were trying to keep it. I'm assuming the movies were rated PG-13. I feel like if they kept some things in there, it might have been a little on the fence. Now, I don't know. These are YA, I believe, so that's probably why the filmmakers decided to go the route that they did, which is completely fine. Like I said, I loved the movies, but I feel like, I don't know, it just would have been even more impactful if we kept this as accurate as it could have been to the books when it comes to the games and what the tributes endured during those games. Also, to quickly talk about the love triangle in here, I really don't think it's a spoiler. I know that people nowadays especially are constantly coming at people that give tropes, which I totally understand that, because yes, that could ruin the plot for some, but I feel like it's really well known. There's a love triangle in this series. I definitely prefer one love interest over the other. I didn't even like the other one at all, and honestly, this might be a hot take, because I don't know, like I said, I haven't read the books, I haven't looked at other people's reviews for the series yet. I didn't really like Katniss, because I feel like she was treating the one love interest just so poorly and playing with both of their emotions. I didn't want her to be with any of them, because the love interest that I did like, I just felt like he deserved better. And I'm gonna stand by that. Even though I still have 50% of Mockingjay to read, that's just how I feel. And I don't think I'll change my mind, but if I did, I'll put it on the screen. But I don't think I will. This one was 374 pages, I believe, and I think I'm gonna give it either a 3.5 or a 4-star. Then I read Catching Fire, which was 391 pages, and this one is either gonna be 3.5 or 4 stars. It depends. It's going to be lower than The Hunger Games, because that one was my favorite, but it'll be whatever one less than what I rated Hunger Games. And then, like I just said, only got 50% of the way into Mockingjay. I got to page 204, so I will count how many pages I read in my total tally at the end. And this one I'm liking the least, so this one's probably gonna be a 3-star. And I know I read this other book before I got into Catching Fire, but I just wanted to talk about the whole trilogy together. The last book that I read during this 24-hour readathon timer challenge was Lana Del Rey's poetry book. This is Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass. I have read this before, but since I got the vinyl on audio recently, I really wanted to reread it and listen to it, and part of me is a little disappointed because I thought the whole book was on vinyl, but it was only select poems. But yeah, I don't fully remember what I said about this, but I don't think there's really a central theme in here. It's just really her just writing poetry, and I loved it. If you love Lana Del Rey's music, it's literally just like reading lyrics to a song. Like, I read it and I hear her voice in my head. Like, it just sounds like Lana, and I have no other way to describe it. This is 5 stars for me. Again, might be a little biased, but I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I already explained my thoughts on this as well. The days have been a little blurry because of all the reading. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what I said or didn't say. And I had to look up on Goodreads how many pages this book was because the book pages aren't numbered in here. And Google and Goodreads said that it was around 128 pages, so that's what I'm going with. Right, it is time for the final totals. So, if I am counting the One Piece volumes individually, I read 8.5 books in this video, which is literally insane. But what's even crazier is that my total number of pages read is 2,062. Now, I am genuinely shocked by this because I didn't think I read books that fast, but I guess I do. Good to know. This covered 2 separate weekends. My time was split up. If this was actually me sitting for 24 hours straight, I have read a book in 24 hours. I read a book and a half in a 24-hour period before. I do know that. But to do this would not happen. And as much as I would like to do a video like that, because I am just really curious, it's not going to happen. Like I said, I work full-time and I just fit so much in my weekends that I just don't think that type of video will ever happen. I definitely don't want this to put like a damper on some viewers' moods, just because I do know that it's hard to not compare yourself to other people, especially when it comes to like BookTube, BookTok, Bookstagram, seeing just how much people read. Comparison is the thief of joy. I stand by that statement. That doesn't mean that I don't do that sometimes, but it's also important to know that a lot of the creators out here do this as their full-time job. And for the rest of us here, hello, that work full-time or even part-time, it's just not really realistic to accomplish all this in a day, let alone a week. If anything, I hope this does motivate you to read or possibly challenge yourself, even if it's just for fun and you don't do like book content on social media, because it's just fun to challenge yourself and see what you can pull off. So that is going to be the end of this video. And like I mentioned previously, I have an exciting announcement video planned. I will be hosting a readathon, and that is mostly going to be hosted on my Discord server, which is linked down below, along with a bunch of other links of where you can find me. And if you want to watch more videos from me, I will have a playlist with all of my videos on this channel. And yeah, I think that's it. I hope you guys are doing well whenever you're watching this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.